Hello again. In this lecture, we're going to be learning how we can create a water texture. And it's pretty straightforward, and it's actually easier than you think. So I've got this scene, and if you're wondering how I did this mountains, it's just a displace modifier mixed with a bitmap on our slate material. So let me just go over here and show you how easy it is to create these type of mountains. And down here, I have this type of map. Okay, so let me just right click it and open the preview window. So you can easily find these types of maps on the internet. You would just have to type in on Google mountain displacement map and you'll get plenty of them. So by using the displacement on a surface which has many polygons, I can just drag this map onto the map options. And then up here, I would just use the strength. That's all to it, really easy. Now let's go back to our water texture. So I'll be using this Corona physical material, and let me just show you how this scene is working. So what I did in here is just to duplicate the same mountain. So it's basically the same plane with many polygons, but I just copied this geometry multiple times. And our water, it's just a plain texture as you can see, and I actually don't need any of these segments, so let's get rid of them. Okay, now let's go back to our camera. And actually, let's start the interactive render so you can see what we're working with. Alright, so we've got something like this. Now let's go back to our slate material and let's start creating this water texture. So the first step is to give this material a refraction value, and it's going to have 1 in the total amount. And here in the index of refraction, you have to keep in mind that water has 1.33 value in refraction, and its roughness, it's going to be 0. So let me just open this, so open preview window, and we have something like this. So this is our very basic water texture, as easy as that. So let us just place this to the plane and start the interactive render again. Alright, so here we have our water. Now this could be a very still water, but in reality, most of the time, we're going to be having some kind of movement or a noise on the water texture. So for this, I'm going to bring in a simple noise component. Okay, and now this noise component, I'll be just placing it on the base bump. Let's right click it and preview this, and you can see how easy that was. Now I'm creating some kind of movement here on our texture. So if I wanted to give a bit more movement to this texture, I would only have to reduce the value of the size within our noise component. So in here I have the size of 63. I can go all the way down to 10, and you can see how we can create this type of effect. Now let's start the rendering again. And there we go. This looks a bit more realistic. If I didn't want so much movement, I would just increase the size. So let's go to 20, and let's actually leave it at 15 for now. Okay, so sometimes in pools, we can see that the color of the water changes. So usually we have a very light bluish color going on a pool water. So to add color, we only need to go inside our Corona physical material, and all the way down here, we have the media options. As you can see, we have the volumetric scattering parameters, and the one that we have to change is the absorption color. Also, we will want the distance. So for instance, if I type in 50, this will not give a chance for my color to start scattering throughout the texture. So we actually need to give it a little bit more of distance. Let's say 300. Okay, now let's open the preview, and you can see that the higher the value of the distance, the more smooth this color will be. So let's try 100 again. Okay, so this is actually making a totally different texture. And actually, let's change the absorption color. I'm going to give it a very light blue tone, like so. Okay, and now to let the scattering happen, I'm going to increase the distance. So this looks way better. Okay, so this is basically the settings that you would have when you are creating a water texture. Make sure that the distance is going to be at 300 centimeters. It works very nice there. Then the absorption color, it's going to manipulate basically our general color. Now let's start the interactive render again. And there we go. So you can see how easy it is to create a water texture. If you want a more still water, you just have to increase the size on our noise component. So this is it for this lecture. Try out different textures for your water, and maybe you can create a box with some kind of depth on it. Apply just a regular plane and start playing with your water textures. I'll talk to you soon.